Ever feel like, you're stuck, like you're hitting your head against the same wall day in and day out, and you just want to break free?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of being boxed in, of wanting something more, it's universal, isn't it?
Totally. And that's what drew us to this short story upgrade for today's deep dive. It takes this feeling, this yearning for something more, and throws it onto a Martian canvas, literally.
And it's Mars, but centuries in the future. We're talking full-on terraforming efforts, but life is still confined to these, well, habitats, these domes.
And that's where we meet Kyle. He's our protagonist, and he's feeling that confinement, that limitation, really acutely. He wants to experience Mars, the real Mars, not just the view from inside.
And the story does a great job of making that longing palpable. It's like, those incredible nature documentaries, those sweeping shots of vast landscapes. You get this pang of, I wish I could experience that.
Yeah, that desire to step into the frame, right?
Exactly. And for Kyle, it's amplified by the reality of Mars. Even venturing outside the dome means strict radiation limits, constantly reminding him of how hostile the environment truly is.
It's that desire for something more, something beyond the confines of his current life that leads him to, well, a pretty radical idea, upgrading, getting a mechanical body.
And this isn't just any upgrade, right? It's outlawed tech, considered dangerous, disruptive. And a big part of why that is, I think, is because of this character, Jake.
Oh, right, Jake. He's a bit of a wild card, isn't he?
Yeah. So Jake was this dissident, died a long time ago, but they unearth his mechanical body and, well, wakes up and tries to attack a terraforming plant.
That's like something out of a sci-fi thriller, right? This almost Frankensteinian figure rising from the dust. But, and here's the thing, the story doesn't make Jake out to be a straightforward villain.
No, not at all. In fact, our protagonist, Kyle, sees him as this kind of tragic hero, someone who rebelled against a system he saw as flawed. It makes you question, is Jake a cautionary tale, or was he just misunderstood?
And it's that question, that seed of doubt, that takes root in Kyle's mind, right? This idea that maybe there's another way to experience Mars, even if it means breaking the rules.
It really highlights how our perceptions, even of what's considered desirable or acceptable, are shaped by the narratives we're told, the narratives we tell ourselves.
And for Kyle, Jake's story becomes this kind of counter-narrative, a glimpse of a different kind of freedom.
A freedom that might come at a cost, though, right?
Exactly. And that's where things start to get really interesting. It's like he's found this forbidden door, and he can't resist opening it.
Yeah, and it's not just a door for him. His girlfriend, Susie, she chooses to go through it with him.
They make the decision together to get the upgrade, knowing the risks, knowing they're basically becoming outlaws.
Which really adds another layer to this whole idea of freedom, right? Like, how much are we willing to sacrifice for it? What are the personal costs?
And the story doesn't shy away from that. It forces us to ask, like, is there ever a point where personal desire crosses a line, where it goes against the greater good?
Yeah. I think that's what makes this story so compelling. It's not just a black and white issue. You can understand the fear, the concern of those who want to maintain order, to keep things as they are.
Right, because change can be scary, especially this kind of change.
Exactly. But at the same time, you feel that pull, that allure of the unknown, the desire to break free from the constraints of, well, in this case, a whole society.
And you really get drawn into their new life on Mars. The story paints these incredible pictures of them traversing these vast Martian plains, climbing these towering mountains. It's breathtaking.
And there's this sense of wonder, of pure awe that comes through in the descriptions. Like, you can almost feel the Martian wind on your face, see the alien landscape through Kyle's enhanced senses. It's vivid.
Totally. But the story doesn't sugarcoat it either. It shows the challenges, the sacrifices they have to make.
They're cut off from their families, living on the fringes, always looking over their shoulder for the authorities.
Right. Freedom isn't free, is it?
It's a constant trade-off, and it makes you wonder, can you ever truly escape the consequences of your choices? Even with, enhanced bodies, advanced technology.
Especially when those choices impact not just you, but the people around you.
That's the thing about consequences. They have this way of rippling outward, and that's something both Kyle and Susie will have to face in a big way.
And it's interesting, because it's not all smooth sailing for Kyle and Susie. There's that moment, right, where Kyle almost makes a terrible mistake.
Oh, you mean when he injures the Mars constable? During that confrontation?
Exactly. Like, his strength is so enhanced, he forgets how fragile a normal human body is.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it? That even with all our advancements, all our attempts to transcend our limitations, we're still bound by, well, our humanity.
And that action, that moment of recklessness, it kind of forces their hand. They end up surrendering, realizing they can't outrun the situation forever.
And you think that's it, right? They're going to be made examples of, punished for challenging the system. But that's where the story takes this really fascinating turn.
Right. Because while Kyle's imprisoned, waiting for his judgment, the highest court on Earth makes this landmark ruling.
And it's a ruling that basically validates everything Kyle and Susie were fighting for. The law that deemed upgrading illegal, it's overturned.
Talk about a twist. It's like the world outside was changing right alongside their own personal journey.
It's such a clever narrative choice, I think, because it shows that change, real change, often happens on multiple levels, both personal and societal.
And for Kyle and Susie, it's this bittersweet victory. They set out to escape the confines of their world, and they come back as, well, unintentional revolutionaries.
But the story doesn't end there, does it?
No, it doesn't. And that's what makes the ending so powerful. Instead of a neat resolution, we get this sense of, well, both triumph and uncertainty. That final image of the upgraded celebrating on Olympus Mons, dancing under the Milky Way.
It's beautiful. Haunting, even. They look like 18-foot-tall gods, as Kyle puts it.
But there's this underlying tension, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does this new freedom mean for their relationship with the rest of humanity, for their own sense of identity?
And that, I think, is the most thought-provoking aspect of the whole story. It leaves us with this lingering question. What does it mean to be human in a world where our very nature is up for grabs? Where do we draw the line between progress and, well, losing something essential about ourselves?
It's a question that goes way beyond the pages of the story, doesn't it? It's something we're all grappling with in our own ways as technology continues to advance at this incredible pace. So, to our listeners, we ask you, if you were given the choice, would you upgrade? What would you do? Let us know your thoughts. This deep dive may be over, but the conversation is just beginning.